Ever and ever. Here comes Bird. Bird takes forever, and I should add myself to the stream. Hello, Rox. Hello, Yetzi. Hello, Yosef. Yeah, we got this big, long silence there at the beginning because Bird was still rambling, and I was trying to listen to see what he was talking about, but, I don't know. Yeah, Yosef. Don't need the wife around to yell at me to grow up. Hello, Captain Trek. Ja, ik had al leprechaun reference. But I would try not to do a leprechaun voice because, well, I don't want to encroach on Bird of Prey 5's accents. Leprechaun! Did I now? The hell? I'm getting old in my old age, I think. I'm getting really old in my old age. Here we go. Now maybe we did it right this time. Ugh. Maybe I should just go back to sleep.
Did I hear you just say you're getting old in your old age?
Yep. I'm getting old in my old age.
That's all right.
Tubian's here. Hello, Tubian. Hello, Vincent.
So
anything good on tonight?
Anything good on tonight? Today's Wednesday, right?
Yep.
No. I mean, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would. Wednesday would be a night where I would usually be playing a game or reading a book or something.
And welcome to the stream, Captain Trek. I'm glad you popped up to cover up the package.
Oh, Lord.
I wasn't going to say anything. There we go.
And here comes Joseph's unpopular opinions.
Hello,
Uncle Remus.
Greetings from the future. Hi, Deej, Darren, Captain Trek, Joseph. Oh, that's me. I'm so happy that Captain Trek came to the stream because when there was only the two of you, the only thing that I could focus on was the pink. Yes, it was very, very disturbing image on the screen.
I did that on purpose.
I know.
And you can blame Yitzi for that because he sent me that picture without the Deej on it.
Oh, man. But it was so funny.
He must know something the rest of us don't know.
No, Carlo, we're not bringing back the DJ.
What, that he wears diapers?
Oh, Jesus. I don't wear diapers. I'm not that old yet.
I have a cousin we call DJ. And it's not because he had a career that has anything to do with broadcasting or radio. It's because his name was Daryl James. So if your name is, Daryl James or something like that, with a D and J in it, you can still call yourself DJ.
Well, my first name does not start with a D, but my first name is James. So,
okay. What does your middle name start with?
E.
Well, that's close enough to D. You can fudge it.
You can be EJ.
EJ.
Yep.
Parrot heads in the chat, linking the bunnies. No, I just decided, what the hell? It's raining out. It's a crappy day. I might as well stream.
Yeah, I guess you're all done having your ice storm, huh?
Yep, the ice is gone now. It's all rain again.
Yeah.
Ice storm lasted one day.
When you look at the panel right now, all of us have a Yitza design here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah. I was the oddball who held out for the longest time. Well, actually, hold on. Yitzi made yours, Joseph?
Yes.
No.
This is Yitza. Just to prove, just as a proof.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay,
It
you're
looks
right.
like it could be him, like a background character, though, not one that-
You know what? You were not at Captain Trek's stream because there was something something happened there, and I need to
This
show
is the
you.
fixed version of.
I need to show you. Let me just play a little bit here with my screens so that everything works. Where is it? Okay, I will just go to Twitter and open it directly from there because what happened at one point, Bird was bored with playing. What's the game? Hey, Twitter. Was bored with Space Engineers and started to do some drawings. And you need to see it. I have to stop talking because I sound incoherent is the first thing.
Oh, you sound just like a normal person on my stream does at the middle of the night. So
Hey, it is actually 10:39 here PM. So
Right.
yeah,
Wow.
share screen.
the rest of us are only coherent because it's still afternoon for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Deej, I'm sharing. So, and this is what Bird came up with.
Yeah, that does look like a bird drawing.
So,
Oh,
and the worst thing is when it is in the circle on StreamYard, this looks like out stick trying to poke my ear. It is actually a bird of prey,
Right.
right? So this was the one thing, and then Jitse created. Give me a second. Jitse created basically that avatar that you see on the screen as a poor rendition of Bird's masterpiece. Yeah, so that's why I'm using right now those two interchangeably, because otherwise, of course, there is as well a normal avatar that it's made for me. But
Yeah.
this is an original Itsy Lemons. Yeah.
Yeah, at least this version doesn't look like a green penis coming at your head.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, he included the little arms or wings. Yeah. Arms.
Well, that and the other one, the bird version, looked like something was squirting out of it. So
Did you guys catch LDG's little tribute to Bird and UPS this morning?
I got to watch it.
I got to watch it as well.
Yeah.
When did he release it? Because
Probably this morning, really
I
early.
must have missed it. So
Clever.
I was there when he was making it, and I got kind of tired of hearing all the sound clips. But then when I saw the finished product, yeah, he's continuously going back to every bleeping time. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good one. Rock Solid put out the short version on my Twitter question last night if Mike Richards ever said hello to Bird's package.
Yeah, say hello to my package. Oh God, his oh God just sold the whole moment.
okay, I have it queued up. I will watch it.
It's very short.
It's like it's almost 5 minutes.
That's pretty
Video.
short.
Oh yes.
That's short for LDG.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't make up my mind if I want to stay up and watch the damn thing tonight or not.
What, Justice League? You mean?
Yeah.
4 hour long thing.
Is it really 4 hour long?
Yeah.
And they are releasing it as one movie, yeah, like one.
It's in four segments.
4 segments. Okay.
Hello, team. Yeah. Well, is it in 4? Last I heard, they were going to play like 2 hours, have a 10-minute break, and play the other 2 hours. But
Huh.
who knows?
Yeah.
If that damn thing comes on in the middle of the night, I don't know if I want to sit there and watch it and look outside and see the sun coming up as it ends.
Honestly, since my screen name says Josef's unpopular opinions, I can state only that honestly, Snyder is not my favorite director. I know that people say, and Darren, you would probably agree with it, as somebody who is very well versed in the DC universe and basically comics and everything, that he knows his stuff. But I'm so bored with all his movies. I don't like his type of cinematography.
Well, I would say that he doesn't know a lot. He has admitted that he didn't read DC comics. He wrote the comic book he read was called Heavy Metal, which had all kinds of adult material in it, and so he brings that sensibility to characters that weren't designed for that kind of a comic. As far as the situation with you liking his or like disliking his cinematography, that's fine. I mean, there's lots of directors that I just can't stand their cinematography. Stanley Kubrick was one of them. Mm-hmm. I recognized how good his distinct, documentary sort of style, but I wasn't a fan, and that's fine. So
yeah.
I don't consider that an unpopular opinion. A lot of people don't like.
Many people say that what he did with The Watchmen, that it was great. Didn't speak to me, but it is. I can totally understand that it is probably the movie is more interesting to people who knew the Watchmen or comics as an original thing, and then they enjoyed the how he transformed it into a movie and everything. But the movie, honestly, I watched it like in 2 parts. I watched it, but I cannot say that I understood it.
Well, Watchmen he made about as good a Watchmen film as anybody could make, and he included as much as he possibly could with the source material. It's just a matter of there was a couple choices that were made for brevity's sake, where they changed the plot up a little bit. But I was when that movie came out, I was still an office worker, and I had 2 guys in my office who were interested. They'd seen the trailer and like, what's this all about? And they knew I was the guy to ask. And I said, well, it's about a superhero team. He said I think the Incredibles had already come out at this point. Uh-huh. I said, if you see the Incredibles, it's very similar in that you've got a superhero band. But I said, and then I told one guy the whole thing about the movie. Like in terms of the premise, the idea that it takes place in an alternate history where superheroes change the course of American history throughout the 20th century, and how this has caused Nixon to win 4 terms in office, and all these other things. Didn't really tell him any of the actual plot stuff, so nothing was really spoiled. But I made sure he understood what kind of a movie it was, so that when he went and watched it, he thought it was a thought-provoking film. The other guy, I didn't tell him any of that stuff. I just said it's a graphic superhero thing, and he was expecting something like Fantastic Four or the Avengers, and he came to work the next day after having seen it and was like, I will never ask your opinion on a movie again because that sucked. He was because he was expecting a different kind of movie, and expectations are important. If you go into a film thinking it's a comedy and it turns into a dark comedy or a horror film or something, you're going to be, depending on what kind of person you are, you're going to be disappointed no matter how good it is at what it actually is doing. And so
I'm trying to remember. There was one film that cheated with the trailer so much that and I don't remember. I think it looked first like an action comedy, and then it became basically something like a family drama. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those situations that I completely understand that people have something like expectations from a movie based on a trailer, and then then they get something completely different. Honestly, I'm going to watch the Snyder Cut because I'm interested in what he did with the characters. Because obviously Joss Whedon had a huge influence on the movie, and you could see it.
Whedon wasn't really in control either. I mean, he was hired to do a very specific job in modification. The Warner Brothers had a specific edict for him to follow. It's like, you need to lighten this up with your usual, comedic flair. And such.
Avenger types, Avenger style,
and that just totally clashed with what we expect out of a Snyder film, first of all, and so I mean we'll see. I mean, I'll see the Snyder Cut after the, eventually. I don't have HBO Max, so I'll have to either subscribe to it for 1 month and see it, and then see how I feel about maintaining the subscription, or just. I don't want to sail the high seas, so to speak.
Right.
I have no other option. If I want to see it, because HBO Max is still not really available.
Yeah.
In Eastern Europe. Yeah.
Well, here in another country, I have nothing to say about stuff there, so don't worry about it.
It's literally. You know what? I honestly have no problems with paying for stuff that I want to watch. That's why I even for Picard I had the subscription for Amazon Prime, because despite I have nothing and no other gains from having a subscription to Amazon Prime.
Right.
I have no problems with having Netflix because I want to have all the Star Trek available with one click. Despite I have everything as a on DVDs or digital copy on my server, but still, Netflix is the easiest way how to get it, and I can tell you I'm giving them a lot of watch time on the original shows, and I have no problems with paying for Disney once it comes, because I watched WandaVision and I'm going to watch as well Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Hey guys.
Hey, Revan. So definitely, I'm going to give my money to them, just because I think it's the right thing to do. But if they don't give me the option, I'm sorry.
I have a question for you, Joseph, about the MCU at the moment. Right? I think that I get why they're doing the short episodes and things like that. The 6 and 7 things are moving on. It makes financial sense. You get multiple series out faster. But the thing is, I think if they did a longer story with more episodes, it might be better.
You mean with the series?
Yeah, with a series, like whatever series you want it to be, like just give it more episodes.
You know what? Honestly, I don't mind if they give me something like 10 episodes or 12 episodes a season, if the story is good, because I don't need to have like necessary filler episodes that. And we had those on Star Trek.
Everything,
actually,
every Star Trek.
Too many filler episodes. Some of them were good, some of them were weak. But something that was really like a suspenseful and the good material, good episodes that you really enjoy and where you go back to and watch those. There were not so many, actually. Maybe literally half a season is watchable and half a season is fillers.
If I was doing the MCU, I would honestly, instead of introducing the X-Men in a TV show, I would have something happen. Like, say, some starts off in WandaVision, and then, say, for talk's sake, in Falcon or whatever, Hawkeye or whatever it's called, right? The Winter Soldier. You see a guy, and he's freaking out, and like they're like, what is it? And he's like, you just hear him in the background. You don't see him. It's just they hear him in the background. No, but guys, I'm telling you, this guy, I was up in Canada. I was fighting him. This guy, he had claws.
Yeah, I mean, there's been an assumption made that there was a reference to Namor, the Submariner, in Endgame,
Well,
for example.
he
Was
yeah.
Marvel's first mutant. I mean, by
I
proxy.
actually think it was before that because I think it was actually in Black Panther because I only watched a bit of it. I didn't like the movie, but from one of the maps there was a map and one of the icons was Atlantis, and in the next one is apparently, now I don't know what the plan is since Chadwick passed away. But originally, from what I heard, the plan was originally going to have a Wakanda versus Namor battle.
That would be cool.
That would be cool because I heard the story.
King versus a king.
I'm definitely not versed with the comic universe, neither neither Marvel nor DC Comics. So I'm literally one of those normies who is just watching the movies, you know.
Darren, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, okay. As a comic nerd as I used to be back in the day, what do you with the way the MCU is going, right? Where the fuck are the mutants? I mean, there's a couple of ones out there who are like old, like thousands of years old. Like, where the fuck are they?
I don't know. I mean, you know, so far they haven't even breathed a word of it. I mean, technically, Wanda is supposed to be a mutant in addition to being a witch, but they haven't gone that. You know, they haven't gone that direction.
They can't now because up until I would say WandaVision production, they didn't have the rights to use the X-Men.
Yeah, well, now they do, and they could have established that she was a mutant. They could have established she was a mutant in WandaVision, but they did not.
The thing is, the question is really how far did they plan with Phase 4, and how much can they right now deviate from those plans that they already put on paper? You know, because it's too many people who are involved in concept development, in writing and everything, and people who have to study the source material.
Well, yeah, but then
go ahead. Actually,
I know that I sound like an apologist. It's like a different type of approach to everything they have right now. That's only like the thoughts that I'm throwing here as a discussion starter.
They're going to stretch it out. They're going to stretch it out as far as they can.
Marvel Comics has a database with every, like, the condensed history of every character they have for new writers that come in for the comics, and I'm pretty sure they probably shared that with Marvel Studios.
Well, isn't the MCU based on the Ultimates universe?
No, the Ultimates universe is a deconstructed version of the Marvel universe.
Yeah. No, because I heard some, like, a lot of the storylines that they're doing are taken from the Ultimates.
Some of them, I mean, some of the visual cues are definitely taken from the Ultimates. The Nick Fury is the best example. That's literally the Nick Fury from the Ultimate line rather than the original comic book line. But I'm scared. I'm scared that they're going to make the MCU completely and utterly woke. Well, I mean, they might. And if that's the case, then at least we have these last two phases where, you know, and then when they lose money, they'll figure it out. They'll see where they went wrong, you know, or whatnot, and then we'll see what happens.
Well,
it's just like Doctor Who. I don't really need this last crap they put out. I still got all the other 50-some years I can watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Star Trek and Star Wars and things like that.
Yeah. Right.
Like, but the thing, like, what I think might be even like a cool reference or something like that, like just say that they're like, oh, there's more and more people are popping up, just like that the snap has awoken the X gene in a load of people, and then they're like, this is weird.
Well,
and they're like, what?
See, the problem with that is that's not what the X-Men were supposed to be about. It was
know that, but
yeah, I mean,
there
were two.
If you look at the cinematic universe, the fact that they're bringing the X-Men into it, and the mutants, they've
we don't know if they will or not yet. We don't know what the plan is.
Oh, they are.
That's the thing.
They said that they're doing an X-Men movie.
the
I heard
problem
this
with
back
this
in-
is,
Sorry.
I understand you've heard it, but that they haven't made any official
Yeah, I
declaration
haven't heard
yet.
any official announcement either.
And quite frankly, the indications are that the X-Men are going to get their own universe, basically, because it's very, very difficult. And this is one of the problems I've always had with the X-Men in general in Marvel Comics, and that was that the idea that this one group of superhumans is totally persecuted while this other group, like the Fantastic Four with the Thing and stuff, are not is implausible. Even if you understand how racism works and how irrational it is, it's not something that they can't coexist that way. And so if you have an alternate reality where the only superhumans are these mutants and they're hated and everything kind of stuff, and then you have this like alternate universe that they can occasionally travel to, where the Avengers are and the Fantastic Four are and such, that makes a lot more cohesive sense. And I've always been a fan of that idea. I always thought that the X-Men should exist in their own continuity and then frequently cross over.
Yeah, but look at the name of the next Doctor Strange movie.
Yes, I know, and there's more evidence of them doing that, given the title of the Doctor Strange film than of them just putting mutants all of a sudden into an existing universe.
If they wanted to, it would be so funny if they actually did a Deadpool Secret War. But it was a short instead of an actual movie, and they literally just imposed Deadpool into a lot of scenes. Like, they have, say for talk's sake, the Avengers and Deadpool's in a cafe having something to eat, and they're over there, and Deadpool's doing his laundry, looking out the window or something like that. It's like he's in all the movies somewhere.
Yep.
I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, I mean, Deadpool is, quite frankly, the most successful X character right now that's still available. I mean, yes, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was popular, but his story is pretty much done at this point.
Oh, it is done. I mean,
and
yeah.
And they had with the movies, they had hits and misses as well.
Right, well, mostly misses. I mean, the first one was okay.
Actually, yes. If he was not in as the part of the X-Men, his solo movies were actually really not that great.
Well, the problem with the Wolverine solo movies, most of them, is that they weren't solo movies. They introduced even more mutants for him to hang out with, and that was the big thing. It's like, okay, this is supposed to be a Wolverine solo movie. Why is Gambit here? Why is Blob here? Why is all these other? Who's that guy with the cowboy hat? That kind of thing. And
I always wanted to see Daken.
You always wanted to see what?
Daken.
Honestly, the idea of all these superheroes having all these adult children that come out of the woodwork, I couldn't stand that shit.
I know, but
I quit Marvel Comics. Hold on, I quit Marvel Comics because the Hulk had like 2 kids, and Wolverine had like 2 kids, and they were already like physical adults, which meant that all this time back in those innocent comic books that I read as a kid, there was hanky-panky going on in between the panels. That's what these new writers were trying to convince us of. I was just so disgusted, and I stopped reading them. But yeah, I mean, you can have a Daken in if he's like an alternate reality son of Wolverine or something, but I mean, I don't.
Multiverse of Madness. But the thing is, if they didn't want to introduce a James Logan in, but they wanted to have a Wolverine, you could, for talk's sake, have them reaching out and they're like, we need Wolverine, and then all you see is a black suit with yellow stripes instead of yellow suit with black stripes coming down, and they're like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Daken." But where's Logan? He's dead. They're like, "No, he's alive." It's like, you're a woman in my universe. Where the hell am I? Something like that.
The multiverses are the thing that's the next big innovation and progression of this. First, they established the cohesive universe between properties which Marvel did better than anybody else. And I mean, the second best is probably the legendary monster universe. But now they're going to go into multiverses. And actually, CW kind of beat them to the punch with that Crisis show. But
Yeah.
but in terms of a big cinematic idea,
What's up, everybody?
Hey,
Up, Tim.
hey, Your Holiness.
oh,
Hey, Tim.
But no, I mean, I do not like this idea of all of a sudden, there's one thing about making a character grow up. For example, the most successful character that ever was allowed to grow up was Peter Parker.
Mhm.
He did not stay a 15-year-old high school kid forever. The choice to age him into college and then into post-college were very huge decisions that Marvel editorial boards had to figure out. Stan Lee was unsure himself, and they were it was a big roll of the dice, but it turned out that was the right thing to do. But I think there was a point where they needed to stop.
Is it the reason why they came up then with like Miles Morales and those other universes? Just
Miles
to make
Morales,
him appealing
yeah,
for
yeah.
teenagers or something?
Well, no. Well, maybe, but the thing is, the Ultimate line is what Revan was talking about, and this was created by mostly by European writers that had been working for Marvel, and they were told, look, initially, the Ultimate Universe was this. It was an experiment. They said to these European talents, they said, pretend that an Avengers movie has come out, and do the movie adaptation, but without the movie, and so redesign Thor, redesign Captain America, and their costumes in particular, to what you think Hollywood versions of those costumes would be. That was the visual idea. But the second idea that they said was now deconstruct them. And Ultimates was, at least the first 6 issues or so, at least, was the best example of that. The Captain America in particular, they really hit home the generational differences when between Americans today and the World War II generation, the Great Depression generation. It wasn't always a positive. There was a very controversial panel where some alien Nazi that Cap had fought in World War II made it into the present day, and he's fighting him, and the alien is noticing that Captain America isn't quite as superhuman as he was back in World War II, and he's taunting him throughout the whole fight, and he says, finally he says something to the effect of, "Don't you think it's time to surrender now?" And Cap gets really angry, takes his shield and literally uses it to cut the guy in half. He's an alien, so he survives, and says, surrender, and he cuts him in half, and then points to the A on his forehead and says, "Does this letter on my head stand for France?" And he says it with just fury, and
Wow.
and
This isn't a comic?
this isn't a comic. It was
Yeah.
it was in I think the 6th issue of Ultimates, and of course today's modern generation, a lot of kids today do not know that the French are supposed to be cowards, right? They
Actually,
don't-
everyone in Europe knows. Everyone in Europe knows. Isn't that right, Joseph? Because the French are commonly known as surrender monkeys.
Yeah, but in the United States, not only are we conditioned, in our public school system, not to assign traits to, personality traits to entire nations of people, but that one was that's a totally, in our culture right now, it's a dated idea.
Yeah.
And right around that time when that issue got printed, the artist of that book, I think his name is Brian Hitch, happened to be doing a convention in France. And, he had to, calmly and politely tell the assembled people at the panel that he was at when they started holding up this page that, I just drew it. I didn't write it. So it was a bit of a thing for him. But Ultimates had this thing where in the Ultimate comic, Wasp is a mutant, basically, and they changed her from a Caucasian woman to an Asian woman, and she eventually has a fling or a relationship with Captain America, but Captain America is so old fashioned Like, but they went to Niagara Falls, and they got and he insisted on separate rooms because they weren't married, and she couldn't adapt to his old-fashioned sensibilities, and she broke up with him, you know, and there. So it was an interesting comic where this is what deconstruction does.
Yes.
Deconstruction is actually a way of slowly destroying a character, particularly one that you like. So, for example, people who like Tarzan, right? Tarzan, the Edgar Rice Burroughs books.
Mm-hmm.
Under the terms of deconstruction, if you told a deconstructed Tarzan story, you would have to acknowledge the possibility and the likelihood that a teenage Tarzan probably experimented sexually with chimpanzees. It's a logical thing, but then, of course, Edgar Rice Burroughs didn't go there in his stories because that's not what those stories were about. He wanted people to like Tarzan, right? So he wasn't going to put that in there. But you know, the deconstruction, it slowly ruins the character.
But
it's kind of like peeling an onion.
Speaking about ruining, what pissed me off about the Ultimates was Odin's son and then fucking Jane goddamn Foster.
Thank
Well,
you, Cap.
It was interesting in Ultimates because in Ultimates, Thor couldn't convince anybody that he was the god of thunder. Every time he would talk about, you know, how I was just in Asgard fighting, you know, frost giants and Niflheim or whatever, and they would roll their eyes and go whatever. And Loki was behind the scenes manipulating things to make it look like Thor was lying about who he was.
Right.
I thought that was fascinating.
Am I thinking of a different universe where Nick Fury whispers something into Thor's ear and Mjolnir was no longer able to be wielded by Thor? It became too heavy for him.
That didn't happen in the Ultimate comics. That happened in the mainstream ones, and yeah, I thought that was weak as hell as well. I mean, I didn't read those comics. I just read about those comics. Because again, I stopped reading comics right around the time my comic came out. Because,
get this. At the end of that, when I stopped, Thor was on a planet. Odin's son, as he was on a planet, and he was fighting right with Stormbreaker, right, hacking away, doing his thing, and he turned around. He went to grab Stormbreaker. Now the Ultimates Thor is dead, and his hammer was now in his universe. And he put his hand in, and another Mjolnir went, and all the armor appeared on him. He was Thor again. He put the hammer down and said, "I didn't earn it."
Well, okay. I mean, the whole gist there is that you've got writers who really just want to thumb the eye of Thor fans, and they put Jane Foster. They had Jane Foster briefly become the new Thor, and it was a ham-handed thing to do, and it was obvious why they did it.
It was, but it was idiotic. She had stage 4 cancer. Every time she held the hammer, she became cured. Every time she put it down, I'm dying again.
Yeah, which is dumb.
What? Are you serious?
Yes, I'm very much serious.
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, the writers today will play fast and loose with the lore of a character in order to get their agenda into the comic, and that's why it sucks, because you can't tell longstanding fans, sorry, all those stories that you loved, they were wrong or they didn't happen, that way.
But that is really, and the thing is, it's like, that's the next Thor movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that that's the next Thor movie. Again, you got. Hold on, I know that Natalie Portman is supposed to be in it, and but again, we've got this multiverse idea. Maybe there's another, there's a cameo appearance with her in it or something. Because quite frankly, Natalie Portman does not like being in the MCU movies. So
why did she sign up then?
Well, she probably because her last couple of films didn't do as well as she had hoped.
They're
so she needs to feed the monkey. You know what I mean? So
you can live with an Oscar only for so long.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, I would like to recognize the panel, because there is a nice discussion going on, and especially I'm having a chat here with Andrea, and she was asking about, she's not able to find the original Justice League. Do you know where it is available?
The original Justice League was actually called the the Justice Society of
She's
America.
talking about the movie. She's talking about the original version of the movie that came out in
The-
theaters.
Andrea, if you're
E-
watching
eBay. eBay.
Yeah.
iTunes.
Well, you can go to you can go. I
eBay.
think you can find it. You can find
Amazon.
it. On Amazon. You can rent it there.
Yeah.
You can rent it off of YouTube. In fact, you can
I
get a copy.
actually
of
have
it.
the original
Buy
version.
it. I think it's
On
On my,
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
have
like
it on my
$8.
hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
pretty-
but
pretty-
I was just trying to explain to her that the movie is not worth the money,
Well,
it will be interesting actually watching
Oh,
the
I
videos.
bought it. I mean, I got it just to have it. It's the Blu-ray is $10 on Amazon. I mean,
Okay, do you suffer?
$3.99 for the DVD. You know,
Do you suffer
You're
from
right.
this from the collector syndrome that you have to have everything like?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's a valid reason.
have you seen his room?
That's a valid. I know. That's why I'm
my
asking.
room is. Yeah, see my living room.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking because yeah, once you suffer from the collector syndrome, that's completely fine that you have it. But Andrea is
I have
actually
that as well.
But
on the
I'm
same
just,
boat with me. Like
the point is, it's easily acquirable. All you have to do is
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's
it
bugging
takes
me
no effort
with
to
my-
look for it.
What's bugging me with my collector syndrome is I've collected all the Star Wars movies. I've been given a few, and I don't have 9. I hate the movie. I've never seen it, but I don't have 9, which means to me my collection isn't complete.
you will
and I
buy
don't
it one day, just because. How do you, I know that there is an expression in English for that when you need to have like the whole collection, like the whole set.
No, I'm a failed collector because I didn't get Far From Home.
Oh,
I get
I
that.
actually got Spider-Man 1 and 2 in a double deal.
Yeah. The only MCU movie I don't own is Captain Marvel, and I tried watching it on Disney Plus, and I couldn't get into it 5 minutes because
I
I couldn't
couldn't-
stand looking at Brie
I
Larson.
could
Oh yeah, I don't have that one either. That's right.
I could not
didn't buy
get
that
it.
either.
I couldn't get
I
into
agree.
Black Panther. Some of the graphics did me off, and
Well-
I just didn't like the story.
Black Panther is one of those movies where you have to understand what you're looking at before you look into it. I actually thought that Black Panther was pretty good. I would
I
rate
thought
it
it was
as high.
I like
I-
that movie as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
there's
thought-
some parts of it that are kind of
Right.
silly.
It's not
like his-
perfect. Yeah.
Magic techno balls that can fix and do everything. I mean, that's,
Right.
Hey!
Yeah.
I've got magic techno balls.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you
Yeah,
do.
You know what?
But,
Basically, that's for example, I found all the Iron Man suits in the later movies ridiculous because I could get into the magic of creating the Iron Man suit in the first movie. I liked the mechanics behind it in the second movie. Already Iron Man 3
But-
when they had the version 42, the Mark 42.
Well,
Yeah.
do you know
Where-
why?
where-
you also
do you know
have to
why they
realize.
did that? In I don't know if they did this in the comics, but I know that there was a cartoon series where he had a literal hall of armor, where he had access to armor for any occasion because he was literally that narcissistic. He needed to have, he needed to be prepared for anything.
You
And
just like making armor. Yeah.
yeah, that too. I mean, that was his thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was there to touch on the fact that he had this thing, and I actually liked that. I enjoyed
like-
seeing the different types.
But
of
then
models.
at the end of the movie, at the end of the movie, he blew them all up too, like he did in the comics,
yeah.
and went back to
Yeah, but
basically
you
only
also
having one or
have to
two sets.
realize. You also have to realize because Joseph's like, oh, where did he get this? You also have to realize alien tech literally fell from the sky. He has that tech.
Well,
I know
Sort of,
that he has that the technology and everything. What I'm trying to say is that everything became so ridiculously easy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean,
Because the suits could get like destroyed and everything, but now, for example, with this nanotech that he has right now, or had in the last two movies, it was like, okay, that's borderline magic.
Right. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was interesting because what I found interesting about him using nanotech all of a sudden is, well, we know that Wakandans had nanotechnology for at least 20 years
Yes.
prior to us seeing them. So So I wonder if he figured it out from, looking at Wakandan tech, or if he looked at Thor, because Thor has, Thor and Loki both have this thing where they can their outfits can change at will. Thor can literally go to a more relaxed version of his usual costume, and then he can armor up later on. And I wonder if he just came up, figured that out from that. Because I mean, again, in the MCU, they've even said this, that they go by the Asimov idea that if the technology is sufficiently, high, it'll appear to be magic to us.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
but you are losing like stakes.
Right.
This was one of those things that were so ridiculous in Black Panther, where the more you get shot, the more energy your suits gets.
Right.
And this is something where you are becoming basically an immortal.
Yeah.
Wearing the suit, you are just trying to outsmart somebody, and how far you can outsmart somebody till it becomes unbelievable.
The only thing that upset me about Iron Man 3 was you briefly get to see a suit of armor that in the comics Tony Stark used quite often, and that was I think it was the Silver Sentry armor, his energy based armor. He puts it on and is in it for like 5 minutes until what's his face literally slices it off him, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
The thing that is kind of like, okay, is Thor in Thor 1 gave me the impression that he wasn't as stupid as he looked. Right? Like when he's like, oh yeah, our tech is, and he started explaining their tech and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they never expanded on that. Like, if Thor is the prince, Thor has done all these things, he travels around. I don't think he's a lughead. I just think that he has a different way of operating. Like, might be a bit brain damaged, but who isn't? But he's basically, if he's there and everything, and half the Asgardians survived the snap as well, right? Those Asgardians who survived could basically have turned around, and some of them like, yeah, I'm an Asgardian scientist. Let's make some shit.
Possibly.
It's the typical fish out of water scenario, It's
I hated the fact that Thor gave Valkyrie the throne. Just like, fuck it, here you take, I'm out of here. Bye.
Well, I can't stand Tessa Thompson if she's not playing a villain, so that I can hate her. I can't stand looking at her. So like, she was okay for me in Westworld because she was a villain, but all the characters she plays in every other movie, I'm just like, I don't like you. And she's not. I don't know why people haven't taken her to task for this. She always has a British accent in these movies, but she's not British. She fakes it.
Really?
Yeah,
I just thought she had the accent.
No,
that's not.
Idea. She's not a British black woman at all.
I never saw the Men in Black.
She also has the accent in interviews.
No, she's had interviews where she uses a regular. If you go to her Wikipedia page, she's not from England, and she does. That's not the way she normally speaks.
Maybe that's the only accent she knows.
Well, there was this one question that over in Marvel Comics everybody was always asking. Says if Thor and the Asgardians are the Norse, i.e. Teutonic, gods, why do they sound like they have this half-assed Shakespearean, dialect? They should sound something more like
that's an easy explanation.
Hold on. Well, yes, it is, but I'm trying to get to that explanation. The one that Stan Lee said was that's the closest version of English that they know. The last time they spoke English, that's how everybody spoke English. So that's they're and
yeah, but by right. Sorry.
Go ahead. And then Thor, through interaction with modern humans, he eventually loses that accent, except when he gets really pissed. And in the movies, they kind of went with that with the Thor Ragnarok, where he's speaking very much like a contemporary person, especially in his fight with the Hulk.
Yeah, when you just think about who directed the first Thor movie.
Yeah,
I did.
Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh. Yeah, and what did Kenneth Branagh? He's the most known for his adaptations of Shakespeare. So
Well, I most know him from his adaptation of Frankenstein's monster. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But the thing was that Thor character had, and all the Asgardians had that Shakespearean, way of speaking way back in 1961 when they were introduced in the comics.
I think it could be one of those reasons why they hired him, why they hired Branagh to actually direct the movie.
They, it's interesting because what I've heard is that Feige wanted the Immigrant song, Led Zeppelin song, to be in the first Thor movie, and Branagh said, no, I'm not doing that kind of a movie. And that's why he didn't come back, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then Taika Waititi, making this extremely fun, Thor Ragnarok film included it.
Okay, tell me.
Sorry.
I have one question. Compared to comics, where is Thor actually more, or how is Thor more like the Branagh character or the Taika Waititi character?
He's more like the Branagh character. The way what Thor is now in the movies is pretty much its own original thing. It's because basically what Thor is in the comics is exactly 50% Superman and 50% Conan the Barbarian. He's actually quite stoic. He doesn't tell a lot of jokes, and when he does tell a joke, nobody gets the joke and he thinks it's hilarious. Nobody's laughing because it's a cultural problem. Kind of like on the old Doctor Who show, when the doctor would tell a joke and everybody on the screen laughs, and us Americans are like, I don't get it.
But you know what I would have loved, and people here have been saying this for ages, right? In my Comic-Con circuits, what they would have loved is, say in Ragnarok or something like that, you hear Thor sends out a distress signal from Asgard, right? And they're like, who's got to help Asgard? Next thing, they turn around and there's you see the Celtic gods standing there, just walking up. They're like, because if the Norse gods exist, the Celtic gods must exist somewhere.
Oh yeah, they're in there. They're in Marvel Comics. They do. They've got all these different tribes of gods. They've got the Olympians. Yeah. They even have the Eternals, which are imposters of the Olympians, and they also had Celtic gods like Lear and these other ones. The one that's interesting to me is that they've never really gone into very heavily the African tribes and their gods, because
that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm, yeah, because there's talk that they're probably going to have some black version of Thor, in the comics soon, because why not, right? And I'm thinking, why do you need to have some black fella?
I've had that discussion, and I'm in a group for black nerds only because they don't know I'm white.
Right. And but why do you need to have a black person pick up the Norse thunder god's hammer? Why, isn't there an African thunder god somewhere that you could actually introduce as a brand new super cool character?
Yeah, actually, wasn't Storm originally like a thunder god or something like that?
Well, she was worshipped by a local tribe, but I'm talking about from actual African mythology. And
African mythology, there's a lot of thunder gods.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, and so because that continent is full of tribes, so it would be interesting if Marvel did that. But the thing is, Marvel isn't interested in creating anything new right now. They're not. They want they are interested in maintaining the trademarks that they already have. And so rather than create new characters that could be interesting and cool.
Guys, I'm going to have to bounce. Thanks for having me on. I will hit you up later. Peace.
Take care.
Peace out.
And there went our crazy Irishman.
Our crazy sober Irishman.
I know. That's probably why you had to bounce. You had to go find some more.
Yeah.
Oh yes, they are celebrating today. I completely forgot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
Because the only ones who are actually celebrating St. Patrick's Day are the Americans. I think it's way bigger in the United States than in Ireland.
Oh, did we lose somebody?
Yeah.
Some of them got them stimulus checks just in time to hit the bars and drink the green beer.
I often think of that about Oktoberfest. You know, I live in a town that has a huge Oktoberfest celebration, and I'm wondering, is it this big in Germany? You know, but
That phone call earlier that interrupted me.
Yes.
Stupid hospital.
oh,
Yeah,
We got a
so,
whole bunch of batches of shots in. If you'd like to come in and get your COVID shot, just like, nope, no, thank you. Would you like it next month? No, thank you.
You don't want it?
Hell no, I don't want it.
no, I don't want it either.
You
It's
are
amazing
you
to me
guys.
how many non anti-corporation corporate pharma people are all of a sudden just clamoring to get this vaccine. You know,
Yeah.
You
it's
know
like,
what?
2 years ago you hated Pfizer and everything they stood for, and now all of a sudden you can't wait to get their shot.
I have talked to a doctor and I have talked to multiple nurses. This does not stop you from getting it. This does not stop you from spreading it around.
Right.
I'm not letting them put some experimental crap that they have not had proper time to test.
I'm
in
just
my
talking
body.
about from pure experience. My mother got the first shot on the 15th of on the 15th of February. She got the virus 2 weeks later, but had no symptoms. That's the good thing, and she got vaccinated right now on Monday with the second dose. So and my godmother got it 2 days ago. And she is with fever, cough, and she is going to be probably hospitalized. So that's the only that's why I'm saying that if I can get it, I will get it. Just because.
It's like the flu shot. It's like the flu shot. I don't get the flu unless I get that damn shot.
Right.
So why the hell do I want to put myself through that?
Last time I got a vaccine was in boot camp, and it almost killed me.
Them sons of bitches hurt.
Well, I mean that was the least of it. I mean,
as somebody who was in the military service, you probably got like tons of vaccines.
Oh yeah. I had no choice in the matter.
We had no choice for that.
Yeah. And I can tell you, although that one that killed me, that was the experimental flu vaccine, right? I almost died, but then I didn't get the flu again for another 8 years. So I mean, it worked pretty well, but you have to survive the symptoms first.
I'm basically a hermit anyway, so
yeah,
I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. I'm not saying to anybody that I get it. I'm just telling the stories that I had right now here with the closest family. That's the only thing. So if you don't want it, don't get it. I'm definitely, and there are like multiple things. The one is the being protected. The other thing is most probably within the EU I won't be able to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, they'll take away all your privileges and even rights until you get it. I mean that's probably coming.
Pretty much. And you know what? The fun part is it's not going to be your own government. It's not going to be your own government that will say you need to get vaccinated, but every government will say, you know what? Nobody can come in if the other person if they are not vaccinated. So actually, if I want to go for shopping to Austria, which is literally around the corner, and there is like a great outlet where I can get all my clothes, if I'm not vaccinated or I'm not like tested within, let's say, 24 hours, they are not letting me over the borders, So it's not going to be your own country who is going to force you.
You'll just have to have things shipped to you. Know your sizes and have the European equivalent of Amazon, whatever it's called, Kerblam. I don't know. And
Kerblam.
it's called Amazon. The mother
sir, thank you home already then.
You know what? With Amazon,
wasn't that a Doctor Who thing?
Yeah, Kerblam.
Amazon.co.uk.
Okay.
And to answer one of Andrea's questions earlier about being able to see the original Justice League cut, if she talks to LTG, he would probably set up a showing of it.
Well,
Actually, yes. That's being taken care of as we speak.
The original one, or because he wants to watch
The new one.
she wants to watch the shitty one. Yeah.
Oh, I could let her see the shitty one, but I'd have to try to keep quiet through the entire time while I routed the sound and stuff. But
Yeah.
No, it's like with Amazon. You know what they have here in Slovakia? Literally 10 minutes, 12 minutes drive away from my house. A huge storage for all the MWDRs, so missing, wrong, damage stuff. So they collect all that crap from Europe over here, but we have here a huge customer center and financial center.
what?
But they don't deliver here.
By the way, did everybody here listen to LDG's little tribute to Bird and UPS?
Oh, that's funny.
That's
That's
Oh, yes, I saw.
It was
Every
funny.
fucking time.
great.
I literally have it open on my second screen, and
Oh.
I will drop out shortly because I need to get my beauty sleep. But before that, I want to watch that video definitely.
No, tell
Beauty
us the
sleep.
truth. The wife's
Beauty
making
sleep.
you stop hanging around the weirdos. She's going to tell you, get away from the weirdos for the night and come to bed.
You hanging out with them again?
Your beauty
Got
sleep,
something
Joseph?
real to do?
Joseph, you're asking an awful lot of the night, aren't you?
I know it's a lost cause, but still.
No. Here's what his wife says: "Grow up, come to
Yes, pretty
Quit
much.
buying Legos.
You,
Stop
you
buying
know what?
Legos. What's wrong with you?
You know what?
That's
What's wrong with you?
The Iron Man had Lego that I have. It's actually one that she bought me, so it's her fault. No, it was really yesterday when I was on Bird stream, bringing up all the 3 Lego builds that I showed on the screen. I had to always run downstairs, take it from my previous home office where I have it, and bring it upstairs. And when I did it like the second time, she looked at me like, "What are you doing?" And I
Does
said,
she know you're blaming her for this?
"Dream with the guys." And she was like, "Grow up." Yeah. and it's basically her reaction to all the
Yeah.
communication that we have here. And of course she
Russian
knows.
Yeah.
But
But
it didn't help the onesie birthday greeting to him, too. She said, grew up on that one, too.
She's actually Hungarian, Darren.
yeah, I know, but Russian women wouldn't put up with any of us in our frivolous geekdom. You know, they would be like, I want a man made of iron or stone or
Oh,
something. You know.
No. I
Even-
know a Russian woman who would fit in perfectly.
Uh-huh. Well, she's the exception to the rule then.
A nice
She
dress?
would out geek anyone here, even Bird.
Well, that ain't hard.
Say Iron Man, Joseph. Andrea loves it.
Iron Man?
Yeah.
Why?
See, I've always thought Thor should sound something a little bit more like Yosef than Kenneth Branagh. But again,
Greetings, mountains.
I think I have a very thick European, Eastern European accent. So if there is somebody like that in the comics,
mhm.
That's
You
why
know.
you make the perfect Bond villain.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
Joseph, let me ask you something.
Yes.
Okay, when does your wife not tell you to grow up?
In bed?
In bed. Yeah.
No, probably tells them that too, because no, grow up. I want to get some sleep.
No, it's actually all the time. But this is one of the. You know what? This is one of those funny trends that I saw on some in some videos. Like, how can you be sure that your husband is not going to cheat on you? And the girls are literally showing like They're men with their collections of action figures, with different model builds and everything. So yes, we fit.
They've got a hammer in their hand, ready to smash them if anything happens.
Yes, literally in their costumes and everything. They have like for the conventions and everything. Like
That's
yes,
funny.
we fit in. I think we fit in there. And you know what? She knew from the beginning that I'm a Star Trek fan, and
Mhm.
I can tell you, she still says it's not 7 of 9 but 9 to 5. So and I love her. I love her despite those flaws. You know,
That'd make a great parody of 7 of 9. I call her 9 to 5.
it's
9
she
of
called
5.
she called her
Or-
9 to 5
9 to 5. Yeah.
9 to 5 when I showed her the Picard trailer. You know, when 7 showed up there,
Yeah.
and I got like goosebumps, and I was like happy
Yeah.
and everything, and I was like, I was screaming here, yes, 7 of 9. She was like, what's happening? And I showed her the trailer, and she was like, okay, 9 to 5. Are you happy now? I was like, I want a divorce.
Well, Joseph, were you actually satisfied with Star Trek Picard?
No, not at all. Not at
No, me
all.
neither. No, it's terrible.
Not at all. You know what? I said that it was a show of missed opportunities and abandoned
yes.
plots. You know what?
Definitely.
It had potential. It had potential in many ways.
Well,
but
I knew. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
but they didn't live up to it.
I knew that it was going to be terrible as soon as like a week before it gets released. Alex Kurtzman has a press conference basically and says, "Try not to look at this like a sequel to TNG. Try to view it as its own thing." And it's like, then why did you even make it called Star Trek Picard?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and this is the problem that he has, and I kind of subscribe a little bit to the Midnight's Edge theory that the license that Kurtzman has forbids him from having all of the Star Trek assets, and that's why he has to come up with his own version of the Enterprise, and that's why he has to come up with his own version of Picard, and and all these other things, because it's a no-brainer, and it's. I mean, if you were to do a Star Trek show today, why would you design a completely different ship and call it the Bird of Prey when you've got one already designed? There's already CGI models of it you can use. I mean, just as a cost-cutting measure, you should be using those. And it never made sense that why he would change everything like that. So, yeah,
Or there's plenty of people that have done upgrades to the CGI model. I mean,
but the design is already there.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at what J.J. Abrams did with Star Wars, and that first trailer when we first saw an X-Wing fighter skimming across the water, people were creaming in their jeans because it looked like a friggin' X-Wing fighter. It was an iconic spaceship, that's being, rendered with modern special effects properly. Yeah, and if you showed if they let Star Trek go away for a while, and then they showed like a Klingon bird of prey skimming the surface of the water like that, or something, but it was obviously it's obviously new footage of a bird of prey done with in the modern techniques. I tell you, there would be a lot of legit excitement for that.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those things that I have problem on the new TV shows that we got, with the exception of Lower Decks.
Mhm.
It is that nothing familiar,
Yeah.
or very little familiar things that they give you,
Mhm.
and ship porn, literally nothing. Everything was blurry,
Mhm.
lazy. I know that they want to go to the let's call it the realism in terms of what we got, for example, in Battlestar Galactica, because when you watch the fight scenes and everything in Battlestar Galactica, like space battles with no sound,
Right.
or when you have like the camera pointing at the ship and the picture gets blurry, like the camera is focusing on the ship in the distance, or those type of shots, but you had the beauty of the ship of those ships as well shown on the show. But this is something that we didn't get with Star Trek at all. When there was in the first season, one of the episodes opened with the fight where the Buran exploded. What was it? One of the ships exploded in the opening shot in the fight with the Klingons. It was one of those seconds, literally seconds, where we got something like a ship on the screen. When we got now in the third season of Discovery, and I put it heavily in quotes, the beauty shots of the ships that when Discovery came into the Starfleet bubble or whatever it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now I'm going to watch Trek Yards specifically what the guys are going to say about it, and it was exactly what Commander Coggins said in the stream, that it was just a bunch of pixels,
right?
That they didn't even pay attention. And I'm not sure, Darren, if you saw, there was one video created by somebody on YouTube, basically a clip from the final moments, like when in Picard, when Riker came to the rescue.
Yeah, they cut and paste the fleet.
And they cut and paste the whole fleet. And somebody did on YouTube a video with actual Trek ships. I can look it up, and I can. It's like few seconds, and I think we can show it each on the stream without audio or anything. So that you know what I'm talking about. Give me a moment. I will look it up.
Yeah, I think that might be Major Grin that did that. I don't remember, but yeah, go ahead and look for it. The thing that gets me about it is that Kurtzman could actually save money, and he'd have a much better reaction if he would use some of those old assets. Now he has done that, but sparingly. The best example I can think of is the antique Romulan bird of prey in Picard, which isn't, that was a brand new model, but it was of a very recognizable ship. We could tell what that was. That was an old Romulan ship. And people loved that, but he wouldn't give us any more, And it's like, at least we could love it for the ships, but most of the ships that he gives us are just shit,
Mm-hmm.
They are, just a bunch of shapes on the screen, and they don't even make sense. And then, of course, having Discovery, like the TARDIS, apparently being way bigger on the inside than on the outside.
Oh,
I don't like that Discovery's hangar door is always open. It's got a force field there instead.
It does have a door. They did close it once.
They did close it once. Okay,
they did close it once, but otherwise it's open all the time. It's like,
I missed it when it was closed. So I would
closed it once. I was like, why? What the?
Yeah,
shit?
it doesn't. A force field has to be draining power somewhere. And, so
especially on an older ship, you would think it'd be more costly.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
But Kurtzman and JJ. I called JJ lately the anti-Midas. Midas was the king who everything he touched turned to gold, and everything JJ touches turns to shit. Star Trek, Star Wars, and now apparently DCU. So,
Andrea, this is the only Cylon ship that counts.
Ooh.
Yep.
Nice.
I like the Cylon ship because it looks like a flying saucer from far away, and then
I do like
the details. Yeah,
I do like the original Cylon ship. Now, there's a good the newer BSG. There's a movie where they actually find an old an old Cylon base star that's loaded with those classic Cylon ships, and they couldn't identify them at first because they weren't most of the current warriors never fought against the older Cylons, so they're used to firing the little hook shaped ships, and they're fighting these, and they're like they had one crash on the deck, and they're like Adama comes down, he's like, that's a Cylon Raider from my day. He's like, oh. And they show the old style Cylon robot hanging out of the cockpit, it's like,
and I love those robots, and I guess they didn't have, I never watched the Ronald D. Moore version of Battlestar Galactica, but
Okay, I found it. Yeah.
Okay.
Deej, I'm sharing my screen. And now I want to ask you. This is like few seconds from the original show. I think. Are you okay with me showing it?
I got it up.
It's the original Picard. What happened there? I'm not. I'm. Let's mute it just to be sure. But I'm not sharing sound. This is how it looked like.
Yeah, I see
in the original one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. This is how somebody fixed it. Let me make it full screen and play it.
Yeah, you got Defiant. You got.
See.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah. So.
Runabouts.
And you don't have every single ship cloned. You have something like this. Yeah. And then you have the whole fleet showing up. It's just incredible.
Yeah, and all those assets are available to them at Paramount, but for some reason, either he is forbidden from using them or just simply won't use them because he's an idiot.
Mm-hmm. I think he's an idiot and just won't use them because he doesn't want to give anything to the real fans.
Doomcock had an alternate theory that might also be true as well, and that is that if it's an original design of his, he gets more merchandising revenue. So like Eagle Moss, if Eagle Moss comes out with one and it's designed to, but the thing is, Eagle Moss can't even sell the Discovery line. They've had to actually merge that with their other two mainstream Trek lines. So now, if you subscribe to the Star Trek ships collection, they'll put in Discovery ships in your subscription because they couldn't sell a single subscription, I guess, for these. Maybe they probably sold a single one, but they couldn't sell any because they used to have three. They had the XL line, you had the regular ships line, and then you had the Discovery ships line, and you could subscribe to either one. Well, then they got rid of the Discovery ones and integrated the Discovery ships into the other two lines. So let's say, for example, you're supposed to get the Enterprise D next month, but they're out of stock of the Enterprise D. They'll throw in a Discovery ship instead.
No.
That would piss me off.
Yeah.
That would piss me off.
Yeah.
No, it is literally a great example of the missed opportunities. What they could do with Picard,
Oh yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
So because really nothing familiar except the opening shot with the Enterprise,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That I really liked, but that was actually the only ship they showed us like a Federation ship.
Well, they showed the Enterprise D again when he went to Starfleet headquarters as a holographic ornament on the ceiling.
Like the hologram, okay, but then what we saw was the Romulan bird of prey with the 709 scene when she came on board.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was something that was like from classic Trek, and then we had the Borg cube.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind all those like reimagined design or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But it was at least something where you could say, okay, this is the familiar stuff. But otherwise, that's
I actually like the idea of retro styling that that Starfleet engineers start wanting their ships to look like stuff from Kirk's era, and they that's an idea that they've been playing around with in a lot of other licensed properties. The idea that like the latest.
Take care, Andrea.
Yeah.
Say, Andrea.
See you, Andrew.
Good night, Andrea.
Have a great one.
But yeah.
Did we say hello to Night Breeze? I even don't know. But definitely, I see
I don't
Night
recall.
Breeze.
Night Breeze. Hi, how's it going?
He snuck in.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, hey Darren.
Yeah.
Earlier you were talking with the Thor about a African thunder deity.
Right.
Marvel actually does have one, and its first appearance was in Thor Annual number 10,
Uh-huh.
and the name was Shango,
Mm-hmm.
and he was lightning, and I guess god of fire too.
Okay. Yeah, see, they can do that. They could have somebody pick up a staff or whatever, and it turns out to be a Shango staff or something of that nature. They could there's dozens of tribes, probably hundreds, in the continent of Africa they could use. They probably have some sort of thunder god. I mean, the Miles Morales Spider-Man reminded me of these child books that I had when I was a kid, or had to read in school, I should say, for an African spider entity called Yancy, or Anansi the Spider. I don't know if you guys.
Never heard of it.
Anansi the Spider. Yeah, if you look at, okay, it's I'm gonna put it in private chat here because I don't have access to the regular chat. There was a child's book. If you put that in YouTube and you hit images, you'll see what I'm talking about. It was a book for kids by Gerald McDermott, and it was tales of a wise spider from Ashanti mythology. And when I first saw Miles Morales' costume, that's immediately what I thought of. Oh, if they're basing him off of Anansi the Spider, that's actually kind of a cool idea. But they didn't. Miles Morales is literally Barack Obama as Spider-Man.
By the way, did you like the movie Into the Spider-Verse?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
I haven't seen it either yet.
It's on Netflix. I really liked it. It was.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix.
First I was like, okay, it's an animated movie. I'm okay, but it was a lazy Sunday afternoon, and I put it on, and I was hooked like within 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. Once again,
It's not on Disney Plus, is it? Just on Netflix?
I'm in Europe, so I don't know where it is.
I haven't noticed it on Disney Plus. That's why I was wondering.
It's still a Sony. Spider-Man is still a Sony product.
Fair
It's
enough.
probably
when it's on
yeah.
video.
You're right.
So-
It is a Sony
Okay.
product. Yeah. So definitely, but there is the Jack Sparrow network where you can find it, and so on and so on. So yeah.
Mhm.
It's definitely something where I was pleasantly surprised with the movie, and everything made sense within like multiverse and everything, all the jazz,
Right.
Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man.
Spider-Man also fights pornography over on 4chan. I don't know if you guys know this or not.
I don't go.
I go to 4chan. I go to 4chan for pictures of things for my videos, like wallpapers of comic books and things. But of course, they have an adult section. Every once in a while, those male hormones get the better of me, and I click over there, and they'll have like a thread with something disgusting in it, like amputees or something like that, or worse, and then somebody about 3 posts down will say, "Did somebody say Spider-Man thread?" And they'll have like all these memes, images from the Ralph Bakshi Spider-Man cartoon from the late 60s. And you'll have Spider-Man just flood that thread so that nobody can get any porno posted on it. It's kind of funny.
Wait a minute, Bakshi did a Spider-Man
What's that?
series? Bakshi
What?
did a Spider-Man series?
Well, that was the one that had the catchy theme.
Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that was Bakshi.
Yeah, let me verify that, because now you got me wondering if I'm right.
Lizard's
coming to an
one of
end
my
if Darren
favorite
doesn't know if
animated
he's right.
movies.
All right, let's see here. Early career, 1968.
And Carlos says that his son loved the movie, and John DeMarco says my kids loved Spider-Verse. I thought it was
He
decent.
took over the Spider-Man television series, so it had already started without him, and he took it over. So he was involved, just not from the very get-go.
Okay, because Wizards is one of my favorite animated movies of all time.
Wizards. Oh.
I have it.
My roommate had it. Okay, here's my
favorite one.
here's my experience with friggin' Wizards. Okay, I had 3 wisdom teeth pulled out in the Navy, and they gave me Tylox, which is some really good shit. Okay, and I forgot that you're not supposed to take alcohol with it, so I had some Goldslugger. And while I was on Tylox, and then my roommate puts in Wizards.
Oh no!
And
I can only imagine.
yeah, that was a supernatural experience for me.
My first time watching Wizards was in middle school. Our science teacher put it in because we had like a day off in the pod. So we're sitting there and like it's movie night. All right, movie day, and we're like. They put in Wizards, and a bunch of adolescent boys are watching Wizards, and waiting, take it off, waiting for the fairy to go nude.
Yeah. They killed Fritz.
when the Abraham Lincoln guy died, and the girl's like, ah! We're just sitting there laughing. We thought it was we were expecting a porno.
Oh man. Well, that's what Ralph Bakshi was known for. He had Fritz the Cat was an X-rated cartoon that he did, and it had adult themes in it. It wasn't out and out porn, but it had a lot of adult things in it, and it was also kind of racist,
You only had a half, I should say 70% naked fairy running around with a wizard in the middle of a cold weather wearing almost nothing. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Good night, Carlo.
And good night, Carlo. And with Carlos, good night. I have to say, it's midnight.
All right.
It's early.
And yeah.
Joseph and Carlo leaving at the same time.
All right, you big baby, go. Jeez.
Wait.
Well, we know he's got a beautiful wife, so.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, there you go.
Okay, pass. You get to pass.
Go lie with that beautiful creature.
I will.
Happy wife, happy life.
In few short minutes, I will definitely. What I would like to say is, Deej, thank you very much for having me on the panel. And once again, I'm sorry I brought up the topic of pop culture.
No, you're not.
Of course, I'm not. I just said it. And yeah, see you around YouTube. Take care, everybody, in the chat and on the panel.
Bad.
Have a great night.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
You can fight that out with Joseph, Carlo. I'm not getting involved in that one.
No.
Oh. So back to there's nothing really good on tonight. Unless I want to stay up late.
Well, you're on now.
Well, I know I'm on now, but it's like I'm still trying to decide if I want to stay up late and watch that damn movie or not. Or just wait till the morning.
4 hours.
I gotta work tomorrow, and what they're having it at 3 a.m.
Well,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
I can't do
gonna
that.
do it.
What movie's that?
The Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut.
Oh, okay.
I want to see it, but not that bad. I mean,
well, it's
don't have to
2 a.m. for me, but still, that's.
If I was still in the
Yeah.
comic book industry right now, I would have brushed out a superhero team book, and call it the Snyder Cut, just to get, the name of the team, the Snyder Cut,
that'd be funny.
just to get the clicks or the
That'd be
attention.
boss. That'd be
They were
boss.
picking on Bird during Dear Bops, and they sent him a picture of Snyder from One Day at a
Oh,
Time.
One Day at a Time.
Schneider,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
With his hammer.
Yep.
I always thought that the One Day at a Time theme song was nice and catchy, you know. But you know, one of my high school English teachers looked just like Bonnie Franklin from that show.
Sorry.
Well, she was cute. Bonnie Franklin was the mom.
Everybody I knew growing up referred to Valerie Bertinelli as Shovel Face.
Really?
Yep.
They didn't think she was cute, huh?
Nobody liked her for some reason.
Maybe because she was married to Eddie Van Halen.
Maybe. The only catchy theme song though that counts is "It's Been a Long Road." Getting
That
from
was
there
the
to here."
worst theme ever.
That theme grew on me. I actually came to think of it as very comforting towards the end there.
I honestly didn't mind the song in the first season, but I didn't like them changing it.
Yeah, they made it more up tempo, and I didn't have a problem with that either. But you know, the original song they were going to use was "The Callings," "Wherever You May Go" or "Wherever I May Go," whatever it's called. They used it in all the trailers for the show, but then at the last minute they couldn't use it because of a legal dispute, and so they had to go back into the Paramount vault and get whatever music that they owned, and somebody picked that one, and it was rushed out, and you know, Branagh didn't like it either, but that's how we got it. And you know, I didn't have a problem with it. That was the series' biggest problem.
Yeah,
in the first
It was still
season.
better. It was still better than the Rod Stewart version, though.
Oh yes, definitely.
Rod Stewart had a version of the song.
Well, yeah, because that song was also the theme to the movie Patch Adams, and with Robin Williams, and so every time I heard it for a while there, all I thought of was that stupid movie Patch Adams. But I didn't like Patch Adams. But anyway, but you know, there's on YouTube you can see what the credits would have been like if they had been able to use the Callings song, and it would have been much better. I mean, honestly, it would have. But the opening credits of Enterprise were really special because they were basically, you know, a love letter to human exploration.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was neat. But I also liked the Mirror Universe version where it was the history of human
Oh,
warfare.
that was great.
Oh,
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, in my opinion, that's one of my. I think it's one of the best episodes of Trek.
Oh yeah.
I
It's-
really
it's-
do.
yeah, it's
just
a-
because it turns everything on its head for 2 episodes, and you get to see the other side, and there's no interference from us.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's
just
entirely in the Mirror Universe, and that's
Yeah.
what was really special about it was there was
Yeah.
no crossover, and I just loved that, like the scene where you know,
Well, there
you know,
was one.
where's they have the intruder, right, and they don't know it's a Gorn yet.
Well, the Defiant ship doesn't count.
Yeah,
I
It-
count Defiant Ship as the crossover.
Yes,
Right.
but we
you
understand.
could, yeah, but it's not where characters crossed over. So because they had to
Right.
keep the Mirror Universe. Here again, another example of them caring about continuity. They didn't want to have Enterprise crew discover the Mirror Universe before Kirk's crew discovered the Mirror Universe. But no, the scene where they have an intruder and they don't know it's a Gorn yet, and they want to know what they're dealing with, and so Archer says, "The slaves we captured, bring one of them to the meeting room," and there's Travis Mayweather just beating the living shit out of this alien for information, and I'm like, these guys are awesome. They have an answer for everything. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you know, because they were just so awesomely evil. Because of course that's what how they would get information out of somebody. They just beat the crap out of them until they start talking.
Hey, give me
you know.
Booth, bitch.
There was that line I just love from Mirror Archer where he goes up to the Tholian and says, "Answer my questions or you will be harmed." You know, not you know, you won't be harmed. Answer my questions. He's like, "No, you will be harmed." You know, just thought that was hilarious in how brazen it was.
Well, you guys have a great time. I'm gonna jump off here for a while.
Later, Night Breeze.
Go eat.
Take
Night
care of
Breeze.
that breeze.
Yeah, something
Actually, I
about your
just got
maternal
done eating.
ancestor. Yep. Something about your maternal ancestor. And he goes, "Oh, take it down another 50 degrees," and then there's Phlox just gleefully lowering the temperature in the Tholian's,
Yeah.
decon chamber. What was so funny was Phlox was like the least different of them all.
Kinda. I mean, he was like morbidly enjoying, like, oh, I'll have to dissect
Yeah.
this guy later.
Yeah.
It was like a mad
Well,
scientist.
he's reporting to Mirror Archer. Its exoskeletal structure is beginning to fracture. It's like, because he's just so delighted by getting to see what happens to a Tholian if they get too cold.
Oh, well, I have plenty of parts to study now.
Wow,
Yeah.
Bert's still
Maybe I
awake.
can make a chandelier out of him later.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Phlox, we beamed a Tholian into decon and modify the atmosphere down there, and he's like, "Oh, you're angry now? Just wait." And then that's how it cuts to commercial. And those actors had to have fun doing that
Oh,
too,
God,
because
yeah.
I mean, just to be able to.
Hoshi.
We're no longer
Oh, yeah.
acting. We don't have to act like goody two shoes. We can
Yeah.
act like dicks.
Oh yeah,
How much
Merriweather got
dick
to
do
act
you
like a
put
like a
into
total.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayweather got to act like a total tough guy. I mean, yeah.
And in the end, Hoshi becoming empress, quote unquote, that was I thought that was the most delightful part of the whole thing. Because most of the time, I honestly hated Hoshi. I really didn't like her character at all because it just.
yeah.
I mean, I get it; they needed a comm officer, but it was like most of the time she didn't do anything. She was
she
motion
was-
sick. She was like
Yeah.
squeamish.
She was like she was like the Barkley actually of
Yeah.
the crew. She was like more like the audience than anybody else.
just timid, didn't. And I don't recall her. I mean, I don't remember watching a lot of. And I watched a little bit more of Enterprise later, like the Zindi War and all that. But I don't remember her actually getting involved in a lot of away missions or anything like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, she didn't. She preferred not to go on them, and there was that. But it's funny because a friend of mine went to a convention, a Star Trek convention, where Linda Tran, is her name, was at. This was about 2 years after Enterprise ended, and she's in there signing autographs and smiling and giggling and all that kind of stuff, and my friend just blurts out, he's like he's not even in line, in front of her yet. He's like next in line. He goes, "Yeah, man. I think the next Star Trek series should be called Star Trek Mirror Hoshi." And Linda Tran got beat red, but she was laughing.
Yeah.
Pickles has jumped up here. He's got one question, then he says he has to go.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Nice to meet you, guys. Great show. Been listening. Been busy as hell for tonight's stream. Double feature of Snyder's Cut. I just wanted to throw it out there. Deej, anybody? I'm looking for people to join the panel tonight. Will anyone be able to make it?
No, sorry, it's pretty
I'm trying
late.
to see if I'm going to still be awake.
Yeah, that panel.
Okay.
I was going to wait and see that probably next weekend.
Next weekend? What? You're like the perfect definition of a super fan. Yeah, let me watch it the week after it comes out. Oh my god!
Well, I'm not going to get up at 2 in the morning on a work day.
But that means you're gonna. But that means if you don't want to get what's that word? Those people who spoilers. That word that has no meaning. You're gonna have to stay away from Twitter, Facebook, YouTube for a whole week if you don't want to get spoiled.
And Yosa points out that I was going to call him too, but then the pickle question it's Linda Park, Darren.
Linda Park, yeah, not Linda Tran. You're right, Linda Park.
I was going to ask if she was related to Kelly Marie Tran, but I'm assuming that's a no now.
And Bird's passing around misinformation.
Linda Park. I should have known
again.
that too, because Linda Park is also the name of Wally West's girlfriend in the comics. So yeah, I feel really bad that I forgot
passing around
The question is, does Bird like my response to Annie Trekker's little Invasion of Kuroga vid.
What was that?
Oh, he just put up, we're liberating Kuroga, and then it's just a video of nothing. It's like a video of
He
like
says he has
some kind
sources.
of graphic or something. And I'm like, okay,
Uh-huh.
here's the
Yeah,
response.
These must be the same sources that told Bird that the Orville was getting canceled 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. All right. Well, anyway, it is out there. If you guys want to be on the panel tonight, just hit me up on DM. Deej, if you're up, I hope you could make it. You're always a great panelist. Tim Christ, if you can stay past your bedtime tonight, that would be awesome
No,
too.
I worked tomorrow on truck day. Are you kidding me? There's no way I'm going to stay up for a 4-hour movie.
Well, see, if you go to bed now and get your sleep now, then you can
No.
wake up nice, fresh, refreshed, and revitalized.
Some of us can't go to
You can
sleep
watch it.
until
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's
so
still
do I,
daylight
but
here.
I slept extra long today to make sure I'll be able to do this double viewing. So I'm going to be up
Oh, God.
once it drops, and then
When's
8
the
hours
next
after
time
that.
you're going
So
to show it? Are you going to show it any other time?
I'm showing it twice in a row. Well, okay, we're technically doing a showing, but we can watch it whenever you want, dude. I'll watch it again and do
Because I get done with work at 4
Do a
p.m.
private watch party.
Central. So
Yeah, just let me know. Just hit me up. We can
Yeah,
watch it
yeah.
whenever. That's no
You know,
big deal.
LDG,
Anyway.
Andrea was
What?
here in the chat earlier, and she can't find the original cut version of it to watch, and she's been curious about that.
Oh, that's a piece of trash. Yeah, don't worry about the original cut. It's garbage.
right, but she wants to
Um,
see it so that she has a good basis of comparison when she sees the.
Well, she
The
just
Snyder
needs
cut.
to come see me then. That's all she has to do.
or buy it
Yeah, or buy it. Exactly. Or buy it.
rent it. You know.
But anywho, I got to get going. Got things to work on. Guys, love you. Take care. And
Lies.
hopefully catch you tonight. Going for
Lies.
10,000 views.
Deception.
Later, guys. Love you.
You know, whenever he uses that "Good Morning Vietnam" thing, I always want to finish the line. Hey,
We're
this
gonna
is
rock
not a
it from the
test. This is rock and roll. No.
Yeah, we're gonna rock it from the Delta to the DMZ.
Yep. I had
My
that
dad
movie
hates that movie.
on CD.
Yeah, Anti-Trucker's still streaming the Liberation of Kuroga. I'm not signing into Twitch for that. No.
Yeah, I mean his
earlier.
whole Twitch experiment is a failure as far as I'm concerned. But
I
I'm sorry, I'm not going to go and log on. I mean, yes, I do
I went to
watch
Twitch
Asmongold,
once.
but yeah, I mean, I don't even go there to watch Asmongold. I wait for him to post his highlights of his stuff on YouTube.
I went to
you know.
Twitch once, and that's because one of my friends was playing Fallout 76 and wanted me to, hang out. And I'm like, okay. And I chatted a little bit and watched.
Was
them
he
play.
insane
I was not impressed. Well, actually, it was
with
his girlfriend.
Fallout
playing
76 or with?
Fallout 76. Yeah.
Meow, Moira.
We don't care. We want to know about Twitch. How do you feel
Oh.
about Twitch?
Oh, Twitch.
Yeah.
That's what I think about Twitch. I keep saying,
Yeah.
all Andy Trekker has to do if he wants to get popular on Twitch is get a little breast surgery, wear a push-up bra, and do some body painting.
Or he could lose some weight and be like Asmongold.
Oh no.
Damn! Ouch! That hurt. Who's dinging?
It's me. I just put it on silent mode.
Holy crap, dude!
I can turn the phone off anyway because
Were you holding it up to the mic, or?
I was grabbing it at the same time as it went ding to put it on silent mode. I only had the damn sound on because I've been waiting for Ford to call me.
By the way, the line I have here on my little animated avatar here is from Fallout 4 when the Liberty Prime unearths the Institute. It's a little adaptation, of course, but it was probably one of the best lines in the whole game. Like, target acquired, obstruction, sediment, concrete, communism. Commence firing. I couldn't stop laughing at that.
I haven't went that route yet.
Oh, the dude, whoever wrote that earned their freaking money in that game, man. I'm telling you.
I was impressed with Liberty Prime until I found out that Liberty Prime was in the third game too.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
And that a lot of those lines were in the third game.
Well, yeah, a lot of them, but not that one, not that particular one. I mean, Liberty Prime is Liberty Prime. They literally the whole story of him in Fallout 4 is that they moved him.
I know.
And then
I know. I looked it all up afterwards, but I remember just being very disappointed that that they basically rehashed an idea from an earlier game.
Yeah, that's. Although he didn't do a lot in the other game. I mean, he walked in Fallout 3. He walked from the Pentagon to the Jefferson Memorial, and then in I think it's Broken Steel, he walks to whatever Enclave base, and it gets blown up. I mean, he doesn't really do a lot. He actually has more of a presence in Fallout 4 if you do the right routes. But aside from that, he's just not. He's just he's like just back presence. Now, what I like is my my mod that it's Endless Warfare mod. If you bump it up to like Insanity, you will see Liberty Primes roaming around that you can destroy. They don't leave any salvage, but you can blow them up, and it's pretty painful.
Now, see, on my playthroughs, I usually sit off at a distance and shoot baby nuke Sean's at it and just keep blowing everything up around it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm warped and twisted. I shoot babies out of a cannon.
No, yeah.
How's that warped?
Somebody might find it warped.
Ah.
I wish I had kept my one game that I had gotten a Fat Man nuke that had freezing. How is a Fat Man nuke going to freeze something when it instantly dies?
My favorite
nuclear winter.
My favorite Liberty Prime moment is when he grabs that really big super mutant.
Yeah. Dude.
And just squishes him.
With the Endless Warfare, you see that a lot because the behemoth super mutants run around too. So like everything you set it to random spawns, and then all sorts of shit comes around. Aliens show up. Just all the then the behemoth comes up, and then the Liberty Prime picks up the behemoth and throws him, and it's like it's funny, so funny. Oh my god, it's great. But yeah, you set that sucker to Insanity, man. You're not going to get far in the game. At least not as far as like storyline goes. You just got to run around there and try and survive. I spend a lot of time in buses, like abandoned buses.
Hail Ambassador.
Yeah. Now, see what I want. And I was thinking about this the other day. We were like, what would be your, this is something that my brother and I were looking at. What would be your ideal next Fallout game? And I'm like, actually, I want a game that takes place entirely before the bombs fell, because I want to see what that world was like, and then then your character at the end starts the war.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I could dig that. Yeah.
And we were like, what would be your factions? Oh, your factions would be Poseidon Energy, Robco. A General Robotics, whatever it's called. Vault-Tec. You'd have those would be your factions, and you'd have, because we already know that the world before the bombs fell was fairly violent, based off of some of the things you read on the computer terminals. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I think it was Cambridge Polymer Science, that location. Yeah. One of the little things on the computer monitor says that, we're getting rid of our security staff and replacing them with auto turrets. So you need to have your badge on you Otherwise, they will shoot and kill you, and we're not responsible for any injuries that you sustain if you forget your badge, things like that. And there's this conceited thing where the world of Fallout before the bombs fell kind of deserved to get destroyed, because of their lack of safety hazard, safety.
Vault-Tec alone is
right.
Ooh.
Well, if you ever
okay, go ahead.
I want to see what went on with the moon base.
There, yes, that is exactly what I was going to say. Because the one thing I loved was in the Museum of History in Boston. You walk in there, they had that big mural, and that's where you see the divergence from history to Fallout history, and then you see that war on the moon. There was a war on the moon. There's like a mural of that, and that would be like Fallout on the moon. And then, let's say the goal is to try and get back to Earth. Like on the moon, you don't know. Let's say the moon base has no idea what happened on Earth, and they've been just surviving this whole time. Maybe there was a Chinese base and a American base up there, and they've still been fighting all these years. Or maybe like a Cold War kind of fighting or something. And you either initiate an actual war, or the object is to try and get back to Earth. Maybe you'll land in where Kennedy Space Center is supposed to be or something. Oh, I don't know. That would just be to me an interesting direction to go. Unlike a lot of people who say, let's do Fallout China or something. I'm like, no.
Yeah, they don't understand what Fallout's supposed to be. Fallout is supposed to be all about Americana.
Yeah.
So these people who say, I want to see a Fallout game that's set in China or Russia, I'm like, that's not they're never going to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, for example, the Chinese submarine in the Boston Harbor, it's got nothing but American stuff in it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a reuse of all their regular assets.
Yeah, it even kind of looks like the sub that's in Far Harbor, in the nucleus. It's very similar.
Exactly. Very similar, yeah. I mean, it's got magazines and things and products, from American products and such. But no, I mean, and other people say, well, maybe it'd be cool if they had one that dealt with, like in Chicago. I'm like, yeah, that could be interesting. But the thing, there's another big theme when it comes to the Fallout games people aren't picking up on. And that is that their location also has to have some patriotic significance to the United States of America. So Washington, D.C. obviously was a choice. Boston was a great choice because of all the American history that happened there. So, Chicago really doesn't have a lot of American history there. I'm sure you've got the whole Capone thing. And,
there's a Fallout in Miami that's some guys are working on, which looks interesting, but I've tinkered with the mod, but I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's going to go that far.
Yeah, I mean, unless they abandon that super patriotic, juxtaposition kind of deal, and then you go to for other things, you could obviously do that.
What about Fallout the Alamo?
Well, the Alamo isn't a huge metropolitan area.
No, but I mean, like wherever I don't know where the Alamo is personally, but
the thing is,
San Antonio.
Okay, it would be to me. It would be a little bit too close to New Vegas in terms of the kind of terrain you'd have. But it would work. I mean, I suppose it would work. The Alamo is, but here's the other thing though.
Lone Star. Let's call it Lone Star.
The Alamo is gonna rub some Hispanic Americans the wrong way.
Yeah.
So
that was just the first thing that came to my head. But like Texas has a lot of history of its own. So
Texas does.
Might be an interesting. Call it like Lone Star or something.
I mean, they don't have to necessarily have that patriotic feel to it. I mean, New Vegas obviously didn't. It had the New California Republic and such. One idea that I remember being a little bit disappointed in was in Fallout 4 you have all these motorcycles everywhere, but they don't work. I'm thinking you could have had a vehicle system like Skyrim had with the horses, only they could be like you fix up one of those bikes and ride it around. But the power armor more or less was that vehicle. So I guess it didn't work. It wasn't too bad. But another guy jokingly, because there's a guy who made a mod for the original version of Skyrim called Elder Scrolls 6 Wisconsin, where it was a Skyrim mod that transformed Skyrim into Wisconsin, and it had so for example, all the town guards had like Packer football helmets on and stuff. Yeah, it was just bizarre, and so somebody was talking about how what if they had like a Milwaukee based Fallout game, or with breweries obviously, and also with Harley Davidson being there. You couldn't use Harley Davidson, you'd have to come up with a Fallout equivalent of Harley Davidson and stuff, and then have lots of mutant cows and things of that nature. And I'm like, well, that might work, but honestly, I don't know what they're going to do with Fallout right now. Fallout as a brand was kind of hurt by 76.
Oh God, yeah,
and so
they just made they didn't do any favors with all the upgrades and the additional things they wanted you to pay for. It didn't help it at all.
No, I just play Fallout 4 over again. That's all I'll do.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Nuka World was my favorite expansion of that game. I love Nuka World so much, but it's taken them 11 years so far, and they haven't come out with another Elder Scrolls game. And I think they're waiting way too long. I mean,
has it been that long? I thought
Skyrim came out. Skyrim came out famously on 11/11/11.
Huh.
It is now 2021, so it's been 10 years since Skyrim came out, and it had been 6 years since Oblivion when
when
Skyrim
did Elder Scrolls Online come out? Because they usually
Elder Scrolls Online is not made by Bethesda Game Studios.
Oh, it's not.
That doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a ZeniMax thing, and Elder Scrolls Online is not considered part of the Elder Scrolls canon. It's just an MMO that has this. It goes for the Elder Scrolls feel, but it really doesn't feel like.
I thought Bethesda owned that too. I didn't know that.
No, Bethesda. No, ZeniMax owns Bethesda Game Studios, and Elder Scrolls Online is a ZeniMax game. They play fast and loose with the continuity, so they can come out with interesting expansions. So, for example,
ZeniMax is dissolved now, so it don't even.
Well, no, it's not dissolved. It was just bought by.
They were published by Bethesda Softworks.
There's a news story 18 hours ago that says the board of directors dissolved.
Well, let me read that then. If you got more up to date information than I am,
and I just looked up Elder Scrolls Online, and Bethesda did publish it. So yeah, it is.
Well, yeah, Bethesda. Okay. There's ZeniMax Studios. There's Bethesda Softworks, which is their publishing arm, and then there's Bethesda Game Studios, and that's Game Studios is the actual studio that does the single player RPG games.
I just put the link in the private chat of where it talks about ZeniMax board of directors dissolved.
Okay. Microsoft's $7.5 billion acquisition of ZeniMax and its subsidiaries at Bethesda, can I speak today, has now been completed, which means ZeniMax's board of directors has been dissolved. Okay, well, that makes sense because they're going to fall under the board of directors of Microsoft. That's not really too surprising.
ZeniMax Online Studios is hiring for both Elder Scrolls something.
Yeah.
Online and multiple unannounced projects. We're going to meet your demands. Yeah.
I mean, my first Elder Scrolls game was Skyrim, and it was actually the first single player RPG I'd ever played too. So a lot of my expectations are based on that. And to this day, I mean, I know people say that the game looks dated, but to me, the vistas and everything, especially with the volumetric lighting added with the special edition, I still think it looks pretty good today. But then again, I'm not as graphics, minded as a lot of other gamers are. I don't need to, if the game it's got good gameplay, I don't care if they have a problem producing the fidelity, the fidelity of an in-game rock or something. You know,
I still like Fallout 3 and New Vegas. You know, I don't play them very much, but I still like the games.
Yeah, the Gamebryo engine was pretty solid. You know, yeah, it's all fine.
I'm still waiting to see if they keep talking about this Fallout TV series on Amazon. I'm still waiting.
You want to see a Fallout TV series? Check out Nuka Break on YouTube.
I've watched a lot of the fan films on YouTube.
I love Nuka Break. In fact, one thing I recently discovered is my favorite voice actor, Vic Mignogna, is actually in that. He's got a couple roles in that.
He's in a couple of the fan films.
Oh, he's in a lot. He actually produces them, I guess. And so in Nuka Break, he's in like one of the early episodes. He's a traitor, and the group that you're following in the story, they start randomly shooting at him, and he's got like a revolver. He's like, "All right, we're gonna lay down our guns at the same time." And then they're like, 3, 2, 1. Nobody lays down their guns. Like, you think I'm stupid? You think I'm stupid? It's great. Then they finally they come together and they do a little bit of info trading. But later, though, which the part I like better is like 3 or 4 episodes more into the story, Vic Mignogna is the mysterious stranger. So the Vault guy, the fat Vault guy, he bumps into him and helps him get his hat back and his coat, and he's like, brushes him off. He's like, "I'm sorry about that." He's like, "That's all right. I owe you one," and he walks away. So later in the show, where dude's in trouble, he's in a firefight, and mysterious stranger shows up and boom, it's freaking great. But man, it's funny.
I guess you kind of had to be there.
Oh, it's a good show.
It is. I've watched it.
Yeah, before they announced Starfield, there was a lot of speculation that their new RPG IP was just going to be the comic book universe from Fallout. The Hubris Comics thing. They were going to call it. They were just going to call it Hubris, the name of it, but they didn't go with that. So.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Silver Shroud.
Well, the idea is that you would create a character that would operate in the same universe as Manta Man, Silver Shroud, and the other characters, Grognak the Barbarian, and that was the idea. But yeah, they didn't go for that. They went with their own silly space idea.
There's been times I've caught myself just sitting there, staying around, listening to the Silver Shroud broadcast.
Yeah, Fallout was pretty good. Skyrim, though, I was just really, really impressed with. I mean, even though it crashed on me several times when I first got it, and I never played a game like that before, having played WoW for almost 10 years. I was like, what's the point if I get better armor? Nobody sees it, I can't show it to my buddies because this is a single-player game. But after a while, I got into it. And I think I milked that thing for everything it's...
One thing that annoyed... Well, my first Fallout experience was Fallout 3 on the PlayStation. And I noticed after I started getting the expansions that the game started getting more weird. Like it was taxing the PlayStation. So I'd be like running around, and all of a sudden everything would slow down, graphics would stop processing, and then the game would just freeze. And I found out it was the updates, it's all the expansions. For some reason on the PlayStation it couldn't handle it. On my PC it works fine, but it was just terrible on the PlayStation 3. And New Vegas was the same way.
Yeah, and we know that the Bethesda's games have never really played as well on the PlayStations as they have on the Xboxes anyway, and Bethesda's games are probably going to become Xbox exclusives here after a while, after their current commitments are over. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the board of directors being dismissed is nothing new. The board of directors represents the shareholders, and if the shareholders have sold the game, the company to Microsoft, then that's it. They're done. So they're acting like this is a huge deal. It's just business as usual. But anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's been 2 hours.
Oh, that's
Really?
really.
Yeah.
Let me look. Cool.
I suppose it has been. You getting tired, Deej?
Yeah, I
All
I
right.
kind of am, and I need to get a little boost. And
A boost? Okay.
well, if I'm going to stay up late, I'm going to need a whole bunch of food in me. And
Oh, crystal meth.
no,
I thought that's
Crystal
where you're
skull.
going.
no, that's Bird's department. Good night, Bird. Yeah, he's still here listening too, so he heard that comment. I'll be in trouble for that one. I'll have more payments directed at me. But thanks for everybody popping up here, and
Yeah, thanks for having us, Deej.
oh, that was better than watching a game session over on Twitch.
Next time,
Thank you. Thank
next time, don't let Tim in right away though. Give us about an hour.
He didn't. I was actually hanging
I'm
out.
just kidding. I'm just teasing you.
What is Andy Trucker doing on Twitch, anyways? Like,
He's
He's probably
gaming.
playing a.
Game.
He's game. Yeah, and
Like
you know,
what-
in
anybody
order
know what
for
game
in order
it
for you to be a gaming streamer on Twitch, you have to be entertaining.
Yeah,
And I just
that is a thing.
yeah. So
And it helps
Yeah,
if you got boobs.
Let me
You
put it
gotta
to you
have a
this
sense
way.
of humor.
He is not the type of entertainment that most Twitch gamers want to watch.
no, right.
That's the most polite way I can put it.
He should change his name on Twitch to the Anti-Boomer.
He might just get views for the name alone.
Yep. All right, I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Later.
Good night, all. Have a good one. Tomorrow at some point I'll put up a review of Snyder. If I make it. Have a good one.